a Guy Ritchie film this one particularly is so stylish. How did the costumes help you get into your character and the accents in some cases?
Enormously. I mean, you know, with any character that you play, the costume really informs, you know, so much of, you know, how you play the role. So, yeah, for me, I mean, her costume, I loved everything she wears. I mean, it was just like, I couldn't even pick out a favourite. Yeah, and the accent, you know, as soon as I kind of turned on that accent, I was sort of in the role. So, yeah.
I got some great suits. And I stole quite a few of them.
Did you?
You did? Closets. But Guy's such a meticulous dresser in himself, so he has a very strong opinion as to when we turn up on set, if it's right or wrong. And often in this case that I had a couple of walks to and fro the changing rooms to get the right pair of socks on or sort of to change up the character so the outfit really sort of suits and kind of your character sits in that world.
And your characters are also all very against type, so to speak, especially you, Henry and Michelle. I mean, what was your in into understanding them?
I feel like I really got her quite quickly. You know, on first reading, I thought, yeah, I think I know how to do this. You know, this is for me, a role that's a little closer to my own background. You know, she's an East Londoner, or very much from where I'm from, and but I love that guys' characters are just they're very clear. You know, they're very confident, and that really comes out off the page actually when you first read it. So it's I don't know, I didn't find any difficulty kind of trying to find her, which you can sometimes do. You know, in some jobs you're spending a lot of time kind of figuring out who they are. But for this, it was pretty straightforward.
For Dry Eye, I really sort of drew on his background, his I suppose Asian heritage, and the filial pressures of perhaps growing up in an Asian sort of gangster household, and the hunger to prove himself as quickly as possible. And I think that becomes his downfall, is he ready to sort of undertake these challenges that a veteran person in that sort of industry has. And so for me, it was really looking into what sort of feeds that fuel and what his engine is and why he's trying to sort of outpace himself, really.
Matthew, I mean, how do you prepare? There's so many great lines in this, but how do you prepare for a Guy Ritchie film knowing that anything could happen on set?
Well, I didn't know that until we got there. I had a hunch after the first time Guy and I talked after the first script that he was not like going to be a prescriptionist about the words that were on the page. And then it's about, I learned very quickly, okay, do not get locked in to any certain dialogue. Know what it's about, know what you want, and then be able to riff and rhyme. And it's lyrics. He's listening, Guy's listening for a certain meter of the music of the speech. Now, mind you, I'm the lone American in the story, but there's a meter to the speech and a meter to the words, and there's not a lot of mincing of words. It's not big on a lot of adjectives and adverbs. Wants to get to the point very quickly. And for my man Mickey, a man who the consequences are very clear, and they're death or not. So it's very clear, the rules. So I just got very comfortable in that place. It was not a man with a lot of, Mickey's not a man with a lot of, wouldn't talk like I'm talking right now, wouldn't stutter, wouldn't have put pauses. And there's no wasted movement or wasted words with Mickey. And then it's just about dancing, meaning not literally dancing, but the agility to have Guy come up with an idea here in the middle of this take, listening to it and going, that's a great idea, and doing it without preparation.
Sweet Mary Jane is my visor.
400 million is a fair to generous asking price.
マリファナ王の引退を合図に群がり始める一流のワルたち。ロンドン暗黒街の覇権をめぐるくせ者たちの騙し合い。ジェントルメン。
I forgot to wash my hands.